everyone, my name is Judy, and welcome to Patch 4.0 Update Breakdown, which is, as you might expect, an extremely huge one. But don't worry, I'll do my best to share only the most important or exciting details with you guys. That being said, let's get into it, starting with, without a doubt, what you already know about Season 4. Unless you've been living in a cave for the past 3 weeks, of course. So, here's a quick rundown of all the highly anticipated additions of this season. A new map, 3 new weapons, a new battle pass, 10 new career levels, the return of Cash Out as the official ranked mode, an enhanced version of World Tour and the circuits which are now linked together time-wise, some leaderboard improvements, 2 extra loadout slots, an improved first-time player experience with enhanced tutorials and better starting outfits, the long-awaited facial hair customization, a bunch of alternative scopes and sights with a static crosshair option to go with it, much better player cards, a few new OST, which of course are all bangers, and, to finish on a high note, a whole new sponsorship system. This is undoubtedly the biggest chunk of content we've ever had, and it could easily be debated as the best too. So yeah, just for this patch is simply awesome. But you know what? There is much more. In our next section, we'll be seeing every buff this patch brought with it, which are the following. The anti-gravity cube received an increase to its radius and its height. The data reshaper now has a longer range and can be used up to 3 times instead of 2. The proximity sensor received a slight increase to its range too. The CL-40 got a huge upgrade to its firepower, with an increase in its max damage and its max damage radius, in exchange for a slight decrease in fire rate. Both the Lewis and the M60 received significant improvements recoil-wise, but the M60 also got an upgrade to its fire rate. The throwing knives and the dagger can now hold their secondary attack instead of releasing it instantly, making them much more deadly. The 93R, the bow, and the sword all received their share of buffs, placing them in a much better spot than before. The spear received a slight movement speed enhancement while performing its secondary attack. The riot shield received a pretty big buff to its damage, which makes me want to try it yet again. The MGL-32 and the SH-1900 both received a slight reduction in reload speed. And finally, the flash grenade received a huge compilation of buffs, transforming it from a forgotten relic to one of the best gadgets in my opinion. And talking about my opinion, I think most of these buffs are excellent and will reintroduce options we thought were dead for ages. So yeah, great job, Embark. Our next topic will be a bit less pleasant though, as we are entering the nerf zone. Are you ready? Here we go.
And here we go.
The explosive and glitch mines received a significant damage reduction, and now have only 1 ammo count instead of 2, though they got a huge cooldown reduction. Some might consider this an adjustment, but after using them, I personally see it as a nerf. The healing beam now heals at a notably reduced rate per second. The gas canister lost 25 damage from direct physical impact. I suppose that virtual or not, gas still doesn't weight that much. The AKM lost 4 rounds while packing for Season 4, which might lead to more variety in medium loadouts. The LH1 received a significant nerf to its fall-off starting range, balancing out the fact it can now have a scope. The SR-84 sniper also experienced a form of fall-off, though this time it's about the bullet trajectory past a certain distance. The mesh shield now has a cooldown whenever it's destroyed or lowered, and the less it's damaged, the shorter the cooldown will be. And I saved the best for last. The RPG received an overall nerf, as it was obviously too powerful to stay in its current state. So, overall, even though some of these nerfs are pretty harsh, I believe most of them were deserved, and that the game will be more enjoyable now that they've been addressed. So once again, great job, Embark. Quick question, are you guys still there? Because damn, even I didn't think this video would be that long. Well, if that's the case, Don't hesitate to click the subscribe button, since you're obviously interested in my content if you're still listening to me right now. Plus, it'll give me a good idea of how many of you managed to stick around this far. That being said, let's get back to the patch notes. So, we now only have 2 remaining topics to cover, and luckily for us, they're much shorter than the previous ones. The first of them is the adjustment section, which contains only 3 pieces of equipment, so let's wrap it up quickly. The XP-54 received a slight nerf in damage, mostly due to the fact that it can now be equipped with a sight instead of a scope, making it way more dangerous than it used to be in close combat. The breach charge now has 3 ammo instead of 2, but it also has a slight cooldown increase to balance things out a little. And to complete this section, we have the tracking dart with a pretty big change, as it will now have 4 charges that regenerate slightly quicker, but each shot will track for just 10 seconds, down from 15. I guess we'll see how well it'll serve this forgotten gadget. Now, to conclude this review, let's take a little look at the most important changes in the content and bug fix section, shall we? Kyoto just received quite an unexpected update, as it will now be possible to roam around with a more autumnal vibe. It's a simple, yet very effective way to refresh an already existing map. Tell me, do you guys have a good connection? Because if that's the case, you'll now be able to wait for God knows how long completely alone in your lobby with this pretty cool change. Oh, I should also tell you that from now on, your best buddy, aka the Guardian Turret, will not be able to shoot through you anymore. So be careful where you place yourself around it in the future. Speaking of the turret, did you guys see those clips where it was paired with a couple of goo grenades in power shift to become an almost unstoppable tool of destruction? Well, if you didn't, maybe you should try searching for some footage of it right now, as this very funny bug has now been fixed. And with that, we finally reached the end of this update. It's probably the biggest I've ever had to review, but I'm glad I did, because from what I can see here, I'm confident this season will be an extremely entertaining one, if not the best we've had so far. So, as always, don't forget to check out the store for the new cosmetics and the link in the description for more details about these patch notes. Until next time, this was Judy, signing out.